how to find houses to fix and flip. So this is one of my favorites. I'm a real estate millionaire. I love real estate. And actually, I think fixing and flipping should be your number one strategy, not wholesaling. Now, you're going to have a whole bunch of gurus who are going to go against that and say, oh no, wholesaling's easier. I don't think so. But we'll get to that later. I want to talk about three things in this video. How do you actually secure the right funding before you even get started? So how are you going to begin? Number two, how are you going to build an investment team that actually has enough experience to find the right locations for your fix and flip? Some of you live in amazing zip codes, because I'd go down to zip code areas when I'm thinking about real estate. And some of you, I wouldn't touch your state, I wouldn't touch your county, I wouldn't touch your city if it was the last thing I did, given what state laws have become. And number three, the biggest mistakes in flipping strategies. And they are many, many, many. So let's begin. How do you find the right funding sources? Well, ideally you have some good credit and you got to get incorporated. So that starts us right off by you needing to talk to one of our team members to get you the right corporate structure. So in a fix and flip business, you typically aren't just an LLC. Now, if you bring OPM, which is other people's money, and find that as a source of funding, or other people's credit, or 3 or 4 of you go together and you put say 50,000 together or 25,000 each, so you have 100,000 to use, you're going to want an LLC with the proper operating agreement. And then you have to also divide. Is it really just 25, 25, 25, 25? Is it really that's your 100%? Or is somebody just bringing money and credit and 2 of you are going to do all the work? So that's not just equal 25% of the LLC. So you use mentors and coaches as part of the team to help you understand what is a really great business relationship going into it. Because I know teams that have been together for decades, fixing and flipping together. Some are money, some are credit, some do the work, some do the construction, some do just the actual real estate transactions, but they all have their lane. They all stay in their lane and they bring something to a very strategic team. So if you see where I'm leading you, you don't go do this by yourself, because then you got 100% of a problem if you don't know what you're doing. And I would never tell anyone to do real estate by themselves. How I became a real estate millionaire is I joined a team, a big, mature team, 20, 30 years my senior. They had decades of experience and capital raising, huge buying and selling opportunities. They knew how to fix, they knew how to flip apartments. They rolled. I only got 10, 15% of that project for the first year. I became a millionaire in it. That's how big the game was, but I joined a team. I cannot tell you how critical it is to join people who have already been there and done it. It's going to reduce your risk significantly because you don't know what you're doing. The other part of that is you don't even have the vendor relationships to find the cement, the wood, just the materials it's going to take. Mature teams actually already have those vendor and supplier resources in play. They already have the accounts, and you can just tap into their lower price items. I remember first when we were in Oklahoma we bought 10 houses on the same block, revamped an entire area, and we bought carpet in bulk for all 10. We bought 10 refrigerators, 10 dishwashers, 10 everything. So all that volume with those vendors and suppliers got us such a great price, which then left more margin for your profit at the end. So go with the team, find how you're going to fund it, and down to your sources of money. How are you going to fund it? Do you have your own savings? Do they have their own savings? Do you need to actually go get some 401k money and borrow it from other people? Do you need to go out to your friends and family? Or do you actually go to a traditional bank? Now, we have some sources once you are a client at the big table. I'm going to be very clear. Once you are a client at the big table, we have hundreds of sources for you to get funding. I think 0% financing for 21 months is the best money that you could ever use when you're looking at a fix and flip. So you can use some of it to actually buy the property. You use all of it, which is 0% money, which is just free. And you use that for all the suppliers, all the vendors. You actually do the entire property. And then when you sell, you pay all that off and you keep the profit. So done right, I've had people take that 150 and flip 3 or 4 properties, make hundreds of thousands of dollars, 40,000 on a flip, 50,000 on a flip. You can do this. You just need guidance and mentoring, which brings me to the next point. Who is your investment team? Again, you don't want to go out there by yourself. So you need to have a mentor. You need the great tax strategist, corporate structure, and trust person. You're going to need really great insurance. You're going to need somebody who's got the construction or handyman knowledge that actually has all those vendors and resources for you to have the suppliers. So there's quite a few people, and oh yeah, don't forget your banker. There's only a few states in the country that you actually have to have a lawyer to close a real estate transaction. Again, I would avoid those states. You know who you are if you're in those states. But for the most part, most states, you don't have to be an agent or a broker. You can just be an investor and you can go do these deals, keep the profit and keep moving. Before I go on, I want you to subscribe to my channel, click that notification button. I want you here 5 days a week. You and your family, anyone over 5 in your family can be here. It's family friendly. If you haven't bought my book, Make Your Kids Millionaires, go grab it. It's in the description below. And once you grab the book, Make Your Kids Millionaires, just get the game. Put the game on your kitchen table or one of the tables at your house. So I want this to be more inclusive, and real estate is a great visual asset for you to include your children in. I remember my kids were young in diapers and they were out at properties. They were everywhere. My funny story about my son Logan is we were at a big apartment complex in Norman, Oklahoma. And at the end of the day, I let him jump in the swimming pool. And a lot of the tenant kids came home and they're like, oh, did you just move in? And I remember little Logan's probably 2 or 3 or 4, I don't remember. And he just says, no, I own this place. So it's cute. So you got to bring your kids along. It's a journey of a lifetime. Now, let's go to the big problems that can happen. So the biggest mistakes is just understanding where we are in the economy. We are at some of the highest interest rates, which is like our 0% funding is a better source. We've got huge inflation, just supply chain issues still. And if you haven't been out on any construction site, all the materials still cost way more than they ever used to cost. So you've got to learn money. Right? Math, data doesn't lie, people do. What are the numbers? Can you get in and out? Can you sell it? I don't know how many people are just really great buyers and then they're stuck with the property because it never occurred to them they should have sold this earlier than they thought. So many new flippers, they wait way too long in the process before they get that property on the market. Because a lot of times, especially if you're going to flip it to another investor, you don't really need to finish it all the way, or you're going to finish it under a very specific set of specs. If you're going to flip to a retail, someone who's going to live there, make it their home, they're going to want granite, probably higher level floors. They're going to want more just amenities than you're going to put in if it's just for a rental. So you really have to go in, you know, we always say you make your money on the buy, knowing that you have a place to sell it and there's a market for what you're going to sell. Because you can find a lot of crap. I can tell you markets all over this country that have great, what look to be buys on the front. There's no market to buy it on the other side. So you have to understand the comps in the area. Again, you got to have that investment team, and a team who's got way more experience than you to buy right and do it right. And then just basic due diligence. You didn't do diligence in the area. You didn't really pay attention to what was going on. You didn't pay attention to lending. You didn't set up a structure, meaning you weren't incorporated, so you didn't set it up. You did it as a sole proprietor. Don't ever do that. You didn't set up your banking. You didn't set up your QuickBooks, so you actually have no financials, which is going to be really hard for you to get any other kind of financing. Again, you use our 0%. It's really a tighter team and less paperwork. You still got to do it, and you still got to maintain it. The biggest challenge is those of you who forget that you've got to pay all that off as part of the cost of the build. So again, make sure you pull out those cash flow spreadsheets, and from the purchase to the rehab to all the way to the sale, can your numbers work and do they work? And I don't know how many people don't know how to do cash flow properly, especially on a fix and flip in a real estate transaction, and you blow it. And I'll tell you, 100% of that mess could take you years to recover. And if you put your credit on the line, you got a bigger problem, because now you just blew your credit for the next 7 years as well. If you have any questions, we'd love to help you, support you. I put a link down in the description to our strategy team, so you can talk to our team about how we can help you, mentor you, coach you through some of your first real estate transactions and become a real estate millionaire. As a quick gift, I'm going to give you 2 tickets to our Millionaire Intensive. I want you to come and learn what it means to live corporate life and become a millionaire. Love to see you there soon. We do them every 3 weeks on a Thursday. And if you have any questions at any time, always go to askloral.com, ask a question, make a request. We're going to be right here. We're there 24/7, and I will be back with you on another topic tomorrow.